Got to do a little bit of the old daily on the daily. This thing is the tits. I like this. It's a '07 Chev Taco, and it's not even that hard on gas as people think it is. Like it probably gets 20, maybe. I don't know, something like that. It's good enough for me. It has one of them engines where they do the stupid shit in there to drop cylinders. And at first, I wasn't crazy about it. When I learned how they did it, I liked it even less. Because how GM does it on these things, and if you got one of these things, you should do what I done. Because you should. They kill oil to lifters so that they collapse, and then it stops opening valves on certain cylinders, and then I think it might shut the injector off as well. So everybody's running dry for a while. And then they turn it back on again. But you can get a little gizmo hoojimafuzz thingamawhopper that you plug into the old diagnostics port. You know, the computer readout what's this under the dash? Plug her in there and it tells the thing that it's always under load, basically. So it leaves it in 8-cylinder mode all the time. So it doesn't ever drain those lifters down. So I got one of them and I kind of like it. It's quite nice, quite nice. So what I got to do here, let me show you something. So one thing that's unfortunate, so you can see that's pretty new, because that one that's buried in there, and all their technologies, so they take a pair of plastics and they give them a squeezing in the aluminums. Well, down over there, mine's leaking. Dirty bastard. Hasn't been leaking for very long, but it's getting progressively worse kind of rapidly. And the thing I really don't like about it is that that's a bunch of fuses and stuff. And here, where's my light? And if you look down there, see how that's wet? That's because it sprays over there. So I don't really like that. Yeah, it's leaking down there. Jesus. So thing number 2 that's a bummer is if you look at my new radiator, see how it's got the old pet cock down there? Well, GM doesn't put one in. It doesn't have one. You can't drain the antifreeze out of this radiator using the old pet cock. So the best thing that the old Googleomopolis comes up with is you're supposed to go down over yonder and grab a hold of that lower rad hose that you can't see in the dark. Yoink! And she goes, bloosh, 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 bloosh. And all your stinking antifreeze pumps out all over the place. And you just do your best to catch what you can. I don't like that. Pisses me off, actually. But what I happen to have is I bought one of them guys a few years ago. If you're not familiar with one of them guys, it's one of those. And I bought it a few years ago for, I think when I bought that, I had a 57 Chev, a Tri-5, and I was putting disc brakes on it. So in doing that, I also wanted to flush the system out. So that thing, I don't know what I paid for it, I'm going to say 120 bucks Canadian in our loonies. So I don't know what that is for you wherever you're watching, like $12 or something it's probably worth. But I bought that to do that with, and flushed the system and bled the brakes, and I have used it 4 times since then. The last time I used it was on that, doing the brakes on that thing. And every time I've used it, I've not had to go back and readdress anything for bleeding the brakes, like it does it by a vacuum. So it kind of works like a siphon feed paint gun works, if anybody knows anything about paint guns. So basically what it does is you pull that trigger, it blows air past there, and there's a tube going down into that bottle, and as the air blows past there, it creates a vacuum as the air shoots by. It always blows air out that end. And that hose goes in, whoop, and then there's a vacuum on the end of that hose. So that's used to suck your brake fluid through all the lines and then come out through your bleeders. Squeaky, squeaky, squeaky. So what I'm fitting to do is I'm going to take Mr. Upper Radiator hose off, and I'm going to plumb that in there, stick her in a hole, and I'm going to pull the trigger, and that's how I'm going to suck the antifreeze out. It's only going to go a quart at a time, but I mean, versus floor drying and mopping up antifreeze for the next 3 hours after I'm done this, I think that's a viable option. It might take a little bit of time, but it's time I'm willing to spend to, I mean, with the antifreeze, once the antifreeze gets on the floor, I'm just going to be pissed off. So, Like I just said, if you don't have one of these, I don't know what's the matter with you. I think you should pause right now and go get one. So here, watch. You'll be able to see. So I took my upper rad hose off. I mean, and then you just put an airline on this baby. Do you see that? That's antifreeze. Okay. Now, like I said, I'm going to have to do this a quart at a time, which is going to take, well, actually, it's not taking long to fill that. But versus having the shit all over the floor, that's time I'm willing to spend. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. I think our hose ain't getting to the bottom. The hose has got to get to the bottom, you know. We got to get to the bottom of this. I ain't never done this on one of these before in the name of maintenance. Every time I've done something like this over the years, I've never had to... Actually, I don't know if I've ever had to drain the radiator out of one of these things because in my experience over the years, every time I've got into the front end of one of these things, there hasn't been much of a front end left on one of these things because they get into situations where somebody just cleaned the front end straight off of the front of their truck. You know? So, I've never really had to go in and, like, usually I'm just trimming bits of plastic out of there because everything's all smashed to shit. So, I don't know, there's no point to that, really. Just saying. I'm not saying, I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? It seems to be that once you get the lion's share of antifreeze out of the radiator in this thing, it seems that a little more trickles back in, probably out of the block or something maybe, I don't know. Because I drain it until there's nobody home, and then, I mean, it can't be all of it because I ain't got but 1.5 gallons in the bucket, but then you let it sit for a minute, and you got a whole bunch more to pull out of there again. So we'll just keep doing that. Because I'm guessing even if I pulled a hose, can you see me? I'm guessing even if I pulled a hose off to drain it, that it would just sit there, oh, that's the wrong one. That it would just sit there and trickle back and, you know, into a drain bucket anyways. Because it's all weird on these things. Like looking at the lower rad hose down there, the lower rad hose goes into the thermostat housing. That's weird. I'm an old school small block Chev guy. That's been the majority of what I've had, so. So I'll just keep picking stuff apart here and then pull the trigger and take some more apart and pull the trigger. I'm not really set up real well for doing videos for stuff like this. I don't got all the studio lighting and I mean, I can barely see what I'm doing. Never mind try to get enough light in here so you can see what I'm doing. And you probably don't give a shit what I'm doing anyways. I'm fitting to dump a bunch of transmission fluid is what I'm fitting to do. How can I not do that? How can I pull these lines off and not dump a quart of transmission fluid all over the place? Because I don't want to dump a quart of transmission fluid all over the place. Huh. I think we're almost out of antifreeze too here. I would guess that I got a 5-gallon bucket on the floor. See, that's a benefit to painting stuff because I buy gun wash to rinse my paint guns out. I buy it in a 5-gallon bucket. It's like $60 or something around here for that. So what the benefit to that is you wind up with a bunch of empty 5-gallon buckets. And I would say I got one. I probably only got 2 gallons out of it. I don't know how much I should get. I don't know. That's what I got so far. I just don't want to pull a hose. Actually, see. Well, here, let me show you something. Just in case you care. I don't know. Do you care? You probably don't care. But I'm showing you anyway. So there, stick it. So what I figure I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the bottom rad hose off there instead of down there where it's a bitch and there's lines in the way. See, those are the lines that are going to dribble transmission fluid. But I think if I pull it off there, focus. Then what I'll do is I'll just put the hose back onto the new radiator first, and then I'll just reconnect it there. But I'm not sure if I'm not sure if it's going to continuously dribble antifreeze out of there once I pull that hose off. Like, I don't think we're dumping any more into the rad yet. I got that much in the bucket. So I don't know. Here's the fans I took off. Who cares, right? Who cares? Who gives a fat rat's ass? You know what boils my eggs about this quite a bit is, so this here particular radiator, I got this from a parts store in town where I'm at here. And it's $400. Son of a bitch. So the shitty part about that is I tried ordering one off of Scramazon. I did order one off of Scramazon 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks and a couple of days ago. And all I kept getting from them, starting a couple of days after I ordered it, oh gosh, was I'd keep on getting messages from the seller saying that the hell was I talking about? Oh, it was at the shipping facility, but they're not shipping it due to customers. I don't know how the hell they worded it. But anyways, they were saying that they weren't shipping it because I told them not to ship it. I didn't tell them not to ship it. I don't even know who's shipping the son of a bitchin' thing. So, after a couple of weeks of that, then the company sent me an email saying, how do you like your radiator? And I said, well, I'd like it here. But I never got it here. So then I said, all right, we'll contact the shipper. Well, then 2 days after that, I get another email from them saying, we're just going to refund your money for you because you're not going to get it. So the point of the story was that radiator was $120. So this is an aftermarket radiator. That was an aftermarket radiator. I don't believe that there's 285 different companies in Taiwan or Japan or China making radiators. I just will guarantee you that both these radiators came from the same place. Except I paid $400 for this one, and that one was $130, and I had to go into town to get this one, and somebody would have drove up my driveway and handed me the other one. But 2 weeks later, here I am. Here I am 2 weeks later, for crying out Flavin. I haven't spilled a drop of nothing yet. Mind you, I haven't pulled that lower tranny line off, but fitting to do that right now. But so far, the old brake bleeder thingamawatsis, that worked out pretty damn good. Because it's empty. I pulled the lower hose off and I didn't get nothing out of there. Still got nothing. Yo ma. So here goes the lower tranny line. Pray for me. I got a rag stuffed in here, but I don't know if you can even possibly get enough rags in here to... Well, shit, there's nothing coming out of the line. Didn't expect that. Didn't see that coming. It's just piddling out of the regimentator. Where do you put stuff? How do you tie stuff away? Get out of the way, you bastard. A couple of bolts and the radiator's out. Yeah, boy! You know, even an old peckerhead like me, because I'm an old peckerhead. All this plug and play shit, that's pretty handy. Like, you don't got to fight with hose clamps and stuff anymore. You just grab a pair of channel lock pliers and give them a pinch. Transmission lines, you don't got to line all the threads up and shit anymore. You just plug them in, click, and they clip in. I mean, what the hell? There's hardly even any swearing to do. And let me tell you, I like to do some swearing. I guess, though, if I'm going to... What the hell? If I'm going to try to do more YouTube videos, I guess I got to get better at talking while I'm doing stuff. I'm not used to that, though. I'm just used to trying to stick my tongue out the right way. I guess my fans will be next. I got fans, you know. You want to see them? Here's my fans. Bought and paid for it. Yeah, boy! We're just about to the point of trying to figure out how to get all that water back in here without a rad cap. How do you do that? You just keep pouring it in the tank and it drains in? That's it. That wasn't even an hour and a half. Huh. Hey? I have probably just about half my family gives me their cans, their soup cans. You know why they give me their soup cans? So I can mix paint and shit. Might seem stupid, but it saves me money. So that tank is full, but I still got a gallon in there. I guess I'll just run it and see what happens. I don't know. That's what I'm going to do. Well, it sucked her dry. Just give that water pump a spin. That'll do it. But didn't that figure? As soon as I get it back together, when I had all that room to work, now, either the idler or the tensioner's rattling. Oh my God. Well, I guess that's it. Just a bunch of jibber jabber while I got dirty hands. Look at my dirty hands. I'm a body guy.